Gareth Patterson's Beyond the Secret Elephants. I interviewed him in March of 2020, and we published that on Apes Among Us. And that to me was really a striking sort of revelation, so to speak, in that you have these certain forms of mystery apes. Like Sanderson categorized these 4 types: the neogiants, which are the big, large, bulky Sasquatch, 7.5 foot tall, disproportionately long arms, no neck, broad shoulders; the man-like forms, which Sanderson called the subhumans, like the Barmanu, etc., and then down through the what he called the proto-pygmies, so the small orang pendek, ibugogo, etc., and then the subhominins, which were like the quadrupedal, more ape-like mystery apes. And not a lot had come out of Africa, and certainly nothing like the wood ape or Sasquatch. Again, Sanderson's neo-giant terminology. And for all intents and purposes, that's what Gareth is describing. He's seen individuals of that size. And so, given his background, I don't know if you've read his book or listened to the interviews.
I have not, no, but I definitely need to, because he keeps coming up more and more. I definitely need to check him out. Definitely.
Yeah, I interviewed him at length on Apes Among Us, so you can find that one from 2020.
Okay.
And then he was on Cliff and Bobo's podcast afterwards. And I think he did Alex's YouTube show.
I believe
recently.
he did. Yep.
But he's got an incredible reputation and career in a body of work in terms of wildlife research. And essentially, I don't want to say single-handedly, because he did have help, but he spearheaded the rediscovery of an entire population of elephants that was thought to be, I don't think it's a giant population. I think it's a few dozen individuals, but nonetheless, they're elephants in an area where it was thought that they were down to just one surviving individual. And through his field work, he discovered that there was a surviving population. And so he wrote about that, and he pursued that for 20 years. And then he came out of the proverbial closet, so to speak, and said, oh, by the way, over these 20 years, I saw these bipedal, hair-covered, 7 to 7.5 foot tall, peaked conical head, no neck, giant shoulder having bipedal apes in this part of the tip of South Africa there, in like the Afro-Montane forest. And so someone of his caliber making those claims and then aggregating a lot of information, I think that's huge, because it seems like that will be more readily part of the reason that people are hung up on the Sasquatch mystery, is that there are not historically or represented in prehistorically in the fossil record a precedent for large apes in North. But you can't make that argument in Africa, which is the cradle of hominids and hominin, where we radiated out from, and all of our relatives and ancestors, etc. So you would think that if there was anywhere that anthropologists would be more sympathetic to the idea of surviving hominids, it would be in Africa, especially South Africa, where Australopithecines were, etc. So that, I think, is really exciting.